Hey, welcome back to the Think Bigger Real Estate Show. Very excited about today's episode. It's going to teach you how you are competing with Netflix and how you can actually win. You might be thinking I'm crazy right now. We'll get back to that and even introduce today's guest. It is going to help us with this exact topic. But I want to remind you the purpose of this show is to knock over the first domino. Before you live a life of great impact, you have to think bigger. This show is all about helping you think bigger so that process starts. Again, I'm thrilled today to have with me actually somebody I've known for a long time. Jason and I went to high school together years ago, and I won't totally date us as far as how long ago that was, but he was a good guy back then, and he's a great guy now. And so let me introduce him, Jason Mendell. 3 years in the business, $28 million in your second year in the business, all by yourself. Impressive. Recently partnered with Veronica Park. They are luxury agents, and they do some really, really cool things when it comes to marketing. We're going to talk all about that today. But before I get into that, Jason, thank you for coming on the Think Bigger Real Estate Show.
Thanks. It's good to be here. And it's funny how things all come full circle. So years ago, we were buddies, and we still are again. So good to see it.
I know. Yeah. Likewise, man. Yeah. Way back when, Wilsonville High School, I was the first graduating class, and I think you were right behind me.
You were the first full graduating class. Yep.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We were not very big class back then. Now Wilsonville is kind of a perennial powerhouse. Back then, we was kind of a limp along school. Anyway, fun to see what you've done with your career. I know you've had built and grown businesses, have a beautiful family. Just so everyone knows, about a week ago, we were scheduled, and Jason texted and said, I'm not going to be able to do this. And we were texting back and forth, and I was joking about how he's a better dad than I am, which is quite possibly true. But Jason, before we get into kind of your expertise in marketing, you being a great dad, I want to like remind people that like another purpose of the show is for people to think bigger than real estate. What is your favorite part about being a dad?
Boy, I think it's having someone that always looks up to you and loves you unconventionally. So, real estate is a hard job. We're away from the home a lot, or, it's got to be a balance. You need a good team. So whether it's a team at home or the right team in the office or the right brand behind you, it's having the right people, around you. But yeah, being a dad is a big thing. I've got a little 6 and 8 year old, very proud of them. And I'm good. That's all I can handle. I know that you've got a few more than me. But it's definitely a big heart moment.
Yeah, it's awesome. I can tell that's a kind of at the core of who you are, which is awesome. Congrats to you and your wife. Now you did 28 million your second year in the business, yet you decided to partner. Tell me why this concept of partnering. Why did you decide to do that?
So one of the real impactful presentations that I saw last year was Barbara Corcoran. It was through the PMAR group. And there were two big takeaways that I got from her. One is that this is a tough business, and it's not your success, but it's how you get back up after you get beat down. So every day, and this is a tough business, so you want to have someone who cares about you and you care about them, and you can have that open communication with. So it's tough. I had a bad day yesterday, but you know what? I got back up today, and it's about moving forward. So that was a big takeaway. And then the second one was, have the right balance. So a lot of people know me. I'm kind of out there. I like being the captain of fun, but getting things done. And I need the right balance. So that's why I was lucky enough to find Veronica Park this last year and team up with her. She really helps us, and we're the perfect couple to move forward, business couple.
Yeah, what a powerful combo. I remember Barbara Corcoran saying the same thing, is that she would take someone with grit over someone with talent all day long. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how talented you are. If when you get knocked down, you stay there, your talent is dormant. It's not actually doing anything. Whereas you get somebody with some grit that maybe isn't as talented, and they can pop back up and keep doing the work, eventually that person's going to win. And so I think that gave me encouragement, right? I don't see myself as overly talented, but I do have some grit. And so it was exciting to have her say that. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. And I think for those maybe that don't feel like they don't have grit, that it can be developed. And in your case, you said, another way to develop that grit is to partner with someone so I'm not lonely. I built businesses, as you know, had a high-end home building company for a number of years. And it can be lonely when you're in business for yourself. And so I think, part of what I hear you saying is that there's there's power in partnership. There's synergy, right? 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2. It equals more than that. It equals even 3 and beyond, right?
Correct. And having the right partnership, but it's also activity. So, whether it's activity leads to results, whether it's a real estate discussion or a door hanger that we're doing or a red carpet reveal or, whatever it may be, you got to be active in this market. So Veronica and I, we do 2 open houses every Saturday, 2 open houses every Sunday. We're out there, we're getting stuff done, and that's really important. So, having someone along this journey is really key for us to be successful.
That's awesome, man. I love it. I was listening to a gentleman today, Ricky Caruth, who's going to be on the show on Friday, and he was saying anything works as long as it involves you out talking to people. Anything, like everything works as long as it involves you talking to more people about real estate. It will work. And I love how you guys are getting after it. Like 4 open houses a weekend between the 2 of you. That's I'll bet your customers love that, and I'm sure it's just great for business.
Yeah, well, the end result is that we're selling more houses. The days on market are shorter, and we've got more inventory, and we're picking up new buyers and new sellers because of that. A big chunk of our business has come from that, just getting out there and doing it.
Yeah, must be present to win, right? It's hard to actually win when you're not out in front of people. So love it. You guys are getting after. We've got a few comments here. We got Nate Krause and Veronica Park. Speaking of them, are chiming in here. So thanks, guys, for your comments. Let's get into kind of this topic of, it's kind of how I see it is that we are competing against Netflix. It's not good enough anymore for one to just get on camera or on a blog and share relevant real estate news. Right? I think about the newsletters of old that are just very factual with no entertainment value. Mm-hmm. Or the videos that get up and are just simply like kind of a rambling of rates and inventory and like that's, in my opinion, people are not, or such a small percentage of people are going to watch that, and then they're only the people that have interest in that particular neighborhood and they're buying or selling right now. Now, of course, you want to capture those people, but don't you want to capture like everybody? And again, this fact that we compete against Netflix is that, we're in the attention economy now where attention is so scarce because there's so many demands, there's so many pulls on it. And what you and Veronica have done is created some entertainment value that tells the story of a home, but it does it in such a captivating way. Tell me more about that. I mean, a few of the videos that I've seen have just been absolutely like phenomenal. Tell me, like, how did you come up with this concept? I love it.
So I'm a big believer that eyeballs on property ultimately sells that property, and no matter where they are. And so what we've been able to do is really just be different. And there's a lot of, well, quick side note, there's a lot of people doing video that are doing very well. Jesse Dow, Jackson Wilkie, love those guys. They built a business on YouTube. There's a few folks that are just market updates. Here's my video, and they're getting those eyeballs. Veronica and I have chose to tell stories through video and keep people captivated. And it really leads to these wonderful, fun things that we're putting together and that we're very proud about, but we're also using them to help us grow our business. So, recently we did one in the Portland Plaza building. It's a $1.5 million, one-of-a-kind property. And the owners of the property are just great, beautiful people. And we put together a cool James Bond video. So we, 5 minutes in length. I mean, this is way longer than any video I've seen, but they wanted to be in the video. It was a production. We ordered outfits. We brought in the cars and we did everything and just made a great production. And at the end of the day, we had 5,000 views on this video before it even hit the market. So, there's a couple of things. One, we like to tell a story. Two, we like to get people and pull them in emotionally. And then just that eyeballs on property and getting things done. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and then just the other day I saw you some scene. I don't know if this video has been released yet, but you in the pool. Has that one come out yet? I'm like, what is Jason doing in the pool?
Yep. So we just recently had a listing in Happy Valley, $1.8 million, spectacular home and car, and we were able to bring my kids in and walk through it. And through the end, we ended up a little wet in all of our clothes, but 6 days on the market, we received multiple offers, and that home is likely to be the second highest priced Happy Valley sale in history.
You know, another one of my favorites is the Back to the Future one, right? You took kind of this mid-century modern, actually went back in time. You were playing the part of Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
Had the DeLorean.
Yeah.
Like you own a DeLorean. Like, I'm seeing this thing around town now. That's you.
Yeah. So here's the DeLorean story. It was a mid-century Robert Rummer home, which is ultra cool, mid-century. There's followers around that. And someone promised me a DeLorean for the photos. A couple days before the listing, that person kind of just disappeared. So I went on eBay, found a DeLorean, happened to be in Vancouver, Washington, went up and picked it up, and now I'm the proud owner of a DeLorean.
All for the sake of business.
That's right. But it's just fun. So if we can be different and just like you say, think bigger, we're all moving forward. So when a lot of people are doing these traditional painting videos, if I see that again, I may throw up. So I want to do things that are fun and cool and different, and just continue to keep those eyeballs on the property.
Yeah, man, it's so great. It really does make it enjoyable for all of us, right? I think, to your point, I think any marketing effort is good, right? I think, but I think we're living at a time and an age where agents have to get better. There's been a certain kind of sentiment of like, we need to fight all the disruptors. We need to tell everybody and like dig in our heels, build a moat and say no, like whether it be these big tech portals or tech firms, and kind of lay a case for why they're bad and why we're good. And I just don't think that is in the best interest of consumers, is to try and pit yourselves against these portals. I think a better approach is just to outdo them, is to do things that they can't or wouldn't do, and actually raise the value proposition on your marketing, raise the value proposition on what you're offering to your customers. Yeah. And you guys are doing that. And I absolutely love it. I think that is the future of well-paid real estate agents. It's not those that have a better argument against others. It's just those that absolutely dwarf the value of the existing value proposition. And I think whether it be in marketing, whether it be in just the overall value that you bring in a consultative type conversation, it can look differently. You guys are really standing out to me, though, across the marketplace, as far as people that are marketing properties in a way that's not boring and not common. And I love it.
Well, a lot of it comes from us as being and having Veronica, but, trying to be an exceptional agent. A big part of it comes from the brand that we were able to align ourselves with. We have a value proposition of doing things right from the beginning. So going slow, we've got one opportunity to make a first impression. It's got to be the best one. And we have tools and resources that are available. Virtual tours are a big part of what we're doing. We've got so many people that are moving here and allowing folks to look up and look down and pan the rooms, and having the absolute best photos and having the best video, the best, just doing everything the best from the beginning, and really going back to the basics of being an agent, but again, doing it better than anyone else.
Here's what, where I see a lot of agents make a mistake. And again, this isn't meant to be critical of anybody, but it is an invitation for everybody to raise our value proposition. And again, I'm highlighting these two because they're doing a great job. But I, one of the things that I see people doing often when it comes to marketing a property, and again, I think I've got an interesting perspective because I'm not a real estate agent. I kind of have a little bit different view and perspective. I'm not so close that I'm biased by my own stuff. And so as almost from a consumer's perspective, the way I see a lot of people marketing is they're not telling a story. It's simply, here's a house, right? Here's 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and it's always a picture of the front elevation of the home. Now, going video, it's some variation of that. I think where marketing becomes powerful is it's telling a story. People get emotionally invested when they can not just see a house, but they can start to see what life would look like inside that house. Yeah. And be entertained to the point of, I've always wanted to be James Bond. Who hasn't, right? And the fact that me watching that video is like, man, I guess that's where James Bond would live if he lived in Portland. And even if I don't actually if I don't buy the house, the fact that my eyeballs are on it and it's creating an additional awareness in me, then you guys win.
Yeah, and that's a big part of it. And when we do our remarks for our properties, it's not this 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 3,200 square foot condo. It's live life to the fullest, prepare to be dazzled by this experience, and you worked hard, enjoy it, whatever it may be, because we can look and see, how many bedrooms and square footage it is. It's all in the listing. So pulling people to their emotions, and then also when we're selling, selling to people's emotions and listen is a really big aspect of being successful in this.
Yeah. You start to, again, help people to see someone else's story living in that house, and then they can start to see their own story living in that house and how their overall life story just got a lot better because now they're living inside that story that you guys have put out in front of them. I mean, I think it's, again, the future of marketing and the future of what well-paid real estate agents are going to need to do in order to rise above industry disruption and become insulated with all the noise of discount brokers, et cetera.
So previous to my real estate career, I owned a wine software business that dealt with a lot of wineries. And one big takeaway that I took from that is the Oregon wine industry is very much about collaboration versus competition. And if we can all collaborate together, whether it's as luxury agents or as people, and just work together, everyone is going to raise the bar and we're all going to be successful. This is about successful transactions, doing things better. I don't play with the whole iBuyer sort of thing. It's not in our market from our price point. Yeah. But, regardless of price point, it's about doing things together. Use your peers. We're surrounded by really successful people that take risks and think outside the box. We should all listen to each other a little bit more too.
Yeah. Well, I love that. And I think that's maybe a kind of a key takeaway for everybody here is not to feel insecure or threatened that your videos aren't as cool as Jason and Veronica's. There's plenty of people that do way better things than I do. And I think if we start to feel that way, then this has not been of service to you. The point of this is to say like, hey, here's a guy and a gal who are raising the bar. Let's follow suit. Hey, industry over here, this is what it needs to look like, right? Let's don't dig in our heels and say that, again, we're worth our fee, yet we keep offering the same value proposition for decades. Like we actually need to raise the bar. Consumers expect more. And so, yeah, this is an invitation to everybody in fact, in the show notes, both on YouTube as well as in the comments in Facebook, we're going to link to some of their videos. And again, this isn't for you to go feel insecure about the stuff that you've done. Whatever you've done is fine. It's great. But we're inviting you to take a look at this to see what inspiration you can generate by watching these to see if you can increase the value of your marketing material. Now, some of you are at a price point where it doesn't make sense to invest the kind of money that it does when you're doing a luxury property. We get that. We understand that. But there's still some ideas, even some things around the topic of, again, telling the story of what it would look like to live in that home. That's maybe a key takeaway that anybody could apply of not just, let's not just highlight that this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house on a quiet cul-de-sac, but like what would life feel like and look like and feel like living in that house? How would their life be better by living in that house? Even if it's just that and some of the wording and some of your text, then it's a win. And I think that's what we're hoping that this does for everybody that's watching this. So
yeah, and we are not the most creative people out there. And again, it's that collaboration piece. I'm picking ideas from people in Texas or Tennessee or San Diego, and I'm just executing them here in Portland. So listen to and see what your peers are doing and, execute. That's a big thing with this.
That's a great point, and very humbly, of you to say that is that, all of us that are doing stuff that may be admirable, it's likely we're learning it from somebody else. So you can too, right? For anybody that's watching this, you can too. You don't have to be the original, thought creator of this, but learn and go apply. So, great stuff, Jason. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on, share your expertise, and really be abundant-minded to be like, hey, look what we're doing. Let us know how we can collaborate with you. It's really an awesome approach that you take, and there's no doubt why you're winning. Let's talk really quickly. The last question, which you've heard me ask before, a signature question of the show, which is, you're obviously a big thinker. That's why we've invited you to come on. What does a guy like you do in order to continue to expand your own horizons, like expand your own possibilities, continue to be a big thinker? What can you teach us?
Yeah, well, I think it's always about doing things differently, but at the same time, we're doing things differently in this market. But I'm also using all this collaboration from other markets and just implementing and taking the approach and putting it into play. So continue to, when people go left, go a little right, but just do it, and activity leads to results. That's a big part of why we're moving the needle. It's been a lot of fun.
I love it. So you guys are studying other people that are winning, being sure you're not blending in with everybody else, and then implement. It's awesome stuff, man. It's the recipe for success. I want to thank, again, those that are commenting. We got some comments here from Jesse Dow. Hopefully you heard us give a shout out to you, Jesse, and the great things that you and Jackson are doing. He's saying best real estate videos. We need colorful smoke. I'm not sure what that means, but Jesse, thanks for tuning in. Always appreciate your contribution to the show. He's a good man. So anyway, for everybody listening, thank you for tuning in. Again, be watching in the show notes here for links to the videos. In fact, there's going to be a link to a Vimeo kind of profile that's going to show you a lot of what these guys have done. And I encourage you to go learn from it, see how you can up your marketing game. And again, my final request of everybody listening, 3 simple words: go think bigger. Jason, thank you so much for helping us do that today. Really appreciate you being on the show. Thanks everybody for tuning in.